So you've just finished your capital raising round, potentially earlier than expected. So what do you do next? Well, let's not make the mistake that most companies do when they just finished a capital raising. Okay, so the first thing is to highlight is that when you finish a capital raising round at that moment, especially if you finish it early, what that means is right when you get to the end of that is you have the most momentum that you have ever had when it comes to raising money, because you've obviously built interest, you've built fear of missing out, you've built momentum, etc. And then typically what most companies do is they then go absolutely silent until they need to raise money again. That is one of the greatest mistakes that you can possibly make. And in fact, when we built Crisp, the whole idea for us was to basically provide software to engage with 4 key principles. Number 1, get ready. Number 2, stay ready. Number 3, always be raising, and I'll get to that in a second. Number 4, get to the fastest yes or no possible. They are the 4 principles that it's built on. So now, the 2 and 3 principles are the most important things for you to be thinking about now that you finish your capital raising. Okay, so remember, number 2 is stay ready. Number 3 is always be raising. Now, with staying ready, key things that you feel is make sure your deal room is always up to date. Make sure if you've got any new projects or any new milestones, they're things that you have inside your mind. Okay, so here is 3 things that you can focus on as part of that staying ready and also always be raising. Okay, so the first thing is to make sure that number 1, investor relations. We have literally built an investor relations component into the platform to make it super easy for you to keep investors up to date with your progress. I highly encourage communicating once every month, right? Some people communicate once every 2 months. Some people communicate once every quarter. Now, if you're communicating monthly, that doesn't mean you're providing detailed financial breakdowns every month. It could be simple updates about key hires that you make in that quarter. And in fact, I'll go through a list of different things you can be providing updates on just to make it really simple for you. So you can be highlighting any new board members which you bring into your company. You can be highlighting, obviously, the capital raise. It's always important to do an announcement post-capital raise about the actual announcement of the raise itself. Next one, any grants or awards that you win, make sure you communicate about that. Any media received, make that aware to the ecosystem because it's effectively free promotion, free publicity and free promotion. Performance metrics, always great to keep up to date on any key performance metrics which you want to be highlighting or providing awareness to for your investors, or maybe that were key focal points for specific investors. Any challenges that you have, right? Because no one expects this road to be, straight like this, right? There is those rare companies but they know that in that journey, it's basically ups and downs all along the way. So any challenges you're having, let investors know about it because they may have solutions, they may have the right contacts, or you just never know, they may have software which could be relevant for those specific challenges you're having. So let them know about that in the sessions of how they can help. And then if there's any product updates, any that are sort of key milestone related for you, make sure you provide information about those as well. And it could even just be general information or Q&A sessions. Investor relations is a key part. The second part to investor relations is investor engagement. So giving your investors an opportunity to engage with you more directly and get to know you, get to know everything about your company. Remember, people think about capital raising often as a transaction. It is more like a marriage in the sense it's going to be a longer term relationship. Obviously, you're hoping for the shorter term with the highest possible outcome possible, but sometimes it ends up to be a longer term relationship. So you want to get to know the other investor and ways that you can potentially add value to them and ways that they can potentially add value to you, right? Outside of just the core investment component. So always helpful to think about. And then the other part to this is that sometimes when you're having more and more conversations, and this is for me goes to discipline, right? Which is another third component for me is discipline part. So you've got the investor relations, investor engagement, and then discipline. The discipline part for me is I'm always trying to have a conversation either with a potential investor or an existing shareholder at least once a day. So I'll effectively allocate 30 minutes. Now, some people don't have that sort of kind of flexibility, but I highly encourage you to try and do it because For me, I find that I learn a lot from my shareholders and also from potential investors. And these could be key things that I'm trying to look for or trying to get value out of is one, sort of future capital raising potential, right? As far as who we should be potentially targeting, potential capital strategy going forward, etc. Sometimes some key investors have great suggestions around this. Board development, you can be consistently looking at ways to develop the board in the direction that you're currently going. Commercial introductions are always highly relevant, whether it be strategic or just, basically normal sort of core business functions that you're providing. Lessons from other investee companies I find are also incredibly valuable. Or other projects that they may have invested into, because you may learn what's different about what they're doing and what it is, what they liked about it, etc. I said, because this game is a game of human desires and human wants. So if you can understand what other people are doing or what other people are attracted to, it can help in shaping your own thinking. Trusted service providers, I found, is another valuable one I've got out of my shareholders as well, because there's lots of service providers, but actually ones that are trusted and specifically relevant to our space is always can be a bit of a dance and a bit of a challenge. And then also their investment thesis. So, it could be what sort of rate of return are they looking to get, or just in general, what is their investment thesis that they're focusing on? And how has that changed or how has that evolved over the last sort of 3-6 months? If you can understand those sort of things, if you can incorporate that or get that out as part of your discipline, I've just found for me over the last few years, it's really helped shape my thinking. It's helped me keep on top of a lot of things. And right now, I'd say it's really formed a lot of the strategy which Wholesale Investor is working to. And it's also working towards our transformation that we're currently going through at the moment as a company as well, right? And navigating it. So said when people often the mistake that one of the biggest mistakes people make when they finish their capital raising is they just stop communicating with investors, right? And to me, that is one of the biggest mistakes. Investor relations, investor engagement, and then discipline are key parts of that. Now, I know that through this video, we would put up some slides around that. In the future, I want to run more sort of education content about how to do this. And really, I do this, and I said, not because I'm a master, it's because I want to learn more and more myself. And I've learned from others about how they actually do this. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that really answers the question for you. After you finish raising capital, what do you do next? And for many people, this is quite important because you always want to be setting yourself up for future opportunities. And hopefully this video becomes a good guide for you.